At 6:08 p.m., a tow truck idled at the end of my driveway like it had every right to be there. 3 people in HOA vests crowded around my gate, hands hovering near the latch, and just behind them stood Karen McCallan, arms folded, staring straight past me at my pond like it was already printed on her neighborhood brochure. My phone buzzed in my pocket. One message. From my lawyer. The court just issued the temporary order. That was the moment I knew this had gone way past a petty HOA dispute and someone was about to lose more than their temper. I bought this land to get away from rules that weren't mine. 6 quiet acres in rural Missouri. No shared fences, no committees, no community standards printed in pastel ink and enforced by people who needed power to feel important. Just land trees, a half-wild pond, and a house I built myself on weekends with sore hands and stubborn pride. My daughter Lily came out here with me after the divorce. We fished, we grilled, we let the place breathe. The pond wasn't decorative, it wasn't an amenity. It was ours, or at least I thought it was. The first letter arrived about 3 months after we moved in. Clearbrook Shores HOA letterhead at the top. That fake polished tone all over the page. It talked about preserving harmony and respecting shared expectations. Then tucked neatly in the middle, a line that made my eyebrow twitch. Pond use should be limited from 6:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. Quiet hours. Evening restrictions. No request. No question. Just an assumption that compliance was already decided. I remember holding that letter in my kitchen, reading it twice, then laughing once short and sharp. I wasn't in their HOA. I never joined. I never signed anything. In my world, a letter like that is just paper. So I ignored it. A week later, I had a small cookout. Nothing wild. 6 people total. Low music, burgers, beers, Lily chasing fireflies near the dock. Around 7:15 p.m., I noticed movement near the lower trail that runs along the edge of my property. 3 figures appeared, reflective vests catching the last light. One had a clipboard. Another held a phone up like a weapon. And then there was her. Platinum bob. Perfect posture. That calm, predatory confidence people get when they've pushed others around for years and rarely been told no. I stepped forward but stayed firmly on my side of the property line. "Evening," I said. "Can I help you?" The man with the clipboard didn't even look at me. "HOA compliance check," he said. "After-hours pond use is prohibited." And then Karen took over smooth as oil. "I'm Karen McCallan, president of Clearbrook Shores. We've received complaints. That pond area is under quiet hours restriction." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't give her drama to chew on. I told her plainly, "I'm not in your HOA. This is private property. If you cross onto my land, you're trespassing." Her smile tightened like a ratchet clicking into place. "Community features don't always follow deed lines," she said. "Residents have expectations." That sentence hit me harder than the threat. Expectations. As if wanting something made it yours. As if enough confidence could rewrite surveys. The clipboard guy kept filming, clearly hoping I'd snap. I didn't. I pulled out my phone and started recording them instead. "I'm calling the sheriff to document contact," I said. "You can stand there, but you don't enforce anything here." They backed off together, synchronized like they'd practiced it. No apology, no panic, just calculation. That night, after everyone left and Lily was asleep, I sat at my kitchen table and felt something settle in my chest. Not fear, not yet. More like a cold awareness. These people weren't done. So the next morning I pulled out everything. My deed, the tax sale certificate, the survey. I spread it all across the table like a shield. Then I installed cameras, one facing the gate, one on the dock, one covering the lower trail. If someone wanted to build a false story about my land, I was going to build a true one faster. The second letter came in a brown envelope stamped "Notice of Violation." 3 pages. Time-stamped photos of me and my guests by the pond. A fine, $40. It wasn't about the money, it was about authority. The wording was bold and official, like they were a court. I forwarded it to my attorney, Gina Hart. She called me back within the hour. "They're claiming your pond is a community green zone on their internal development map," she said. "Internal maps don't beat county records," I told her. "They're betting you won't go pull the originals," she replied. So I did. I drove to the county recorder's office myself, asked for certified copies of older plats. Anything that existed before Clearbrook Shores became a marketing name. The clerk handed me stamped documents that were crystal clear. My pond sat inside an old agricultural tract. No easements, no shared designations, no green zone. I scanned everything and sent it to Gina. For a moment I felt solid again, grounded, like facts still mattered. That feeling didn't last long. The harassment shifted from paper to people. One of my co-workers texted me a photo of a note left on his windshield at his place in town. "You were observed aiding unauthorized access to community water assets." It was meant to scare them, to make people think twice about coming over, to isolate me. Then the narrative campaign started. A flyer appeared at the local feed store, grainy photo of my dock at dusk, a moralizing message about selfish landowners stealing from children. On the Clearbrook neighborhood page, an anonymous account ranted about me blocking families from a beloved community pond. The tone was syrupy. The goal was obvious: turn a theft attempt into a virtue crusade. That's when doubt crept in. Late at night, after Lily was asleep, I'd scroll through those posts and feel something twist. Am I missing something? Did I buy into something without realizing it? Am I really the bad guy here? It sounds stupid now, but when enough people say the same lie, it starts to echo. I caught myself thinking about selling, about walking away, about how much easier it would be to let them have it and just be done. That scared me more than Karen ever could. The shift came when I started looking at real estate listings near the southern edge of Clearbrook, houses that faced my trees. And there it was, repeated like a script: pond access, evening water views, community nature amenity, and right there on the agent line over and over, Karen McAllen. I screenshotted everything, every listing, every date, every phrase implying my pond belonged to them. I sent the file to Gina. She didn't sound surprised. "This isn't about harmony," she said. "It's about value. They're selling your pond as an amenity." Something in me hardened at that. Fine, I thought. If they're treating it like fraud, so will I. And then someone crossed a line that can't be smoothed over with words. One morning I walked down to the water and smelled chemicals before I saw anything. The pond had a pale, cloudy tint, like pigment dumped straight into it. 2 fish floated belly up near the rocks. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I documented. Photos, video, water sample in a clean jar. Then I pulled the camera footage. 3 figures came down the lower trail after midnight. Dark clothes, reflective armbands. One carried a bucket. Another stood back like a lookout. On the road, partly hidden, a white SUV idled. I couldn't see the driver's face, but I could see the stillness of someone watching a job get done. Karen didn't need to carry the bucket. She just needed to authorize the people who would. I went straight to the sheriff. Trespass, property damage, harassment. I didn't plead. I asked for a case number and wrote it down. Gina sent a cease and desist to the HOA and to Karen directly. It listed facts, attached evidence, included screenshots of the listings, and copied the State Real Estate Licensing Board. Not for theatrics. Because paper trails matter when people pretend reality is flexible. That should have forced a retreat. Instead, Karen escalated into a public show. Which brings me back to my gate at 6:08 p.m. Clipboard guy stood there with 2 others, and beside them a broad-shouldered man in a polished jacket hovering close like hired muscle without a uniform. Karen stayed behind them like a commander who doesn't touch the battlefield. Clipboard guy held up a document. Notice of restricted access. Seals. Bold fonts. The kind of design that fools people who don't know what real county notices look like. After 6:00 p.m., Karen said calmly, "This is an environmental safety buffer. Your guests are banned from being near the pond." Effective immediately. The man beside her leaned in. "You need to comply," he said. Like intimidation counted as authority. I took the notice between two fingers, glanced once, and handed it back. "This is counterfeit," I said. Calm, clear. No extra words. Karen's smile widened. "Be careful accusing us. Defamation gets expensive." I lifted my phone so all of them were in frame. "Say it again," I told her, "and explain on camera why you brought a tow truck onto a private drive you have no easement to use." Her son scoffed. "You can't record us." "This is my property," I said, "and you're standing on it." Karen made a small hand gesture barely visible. Clipboard guy's hand moved toward the gate latch. "That's the line," I said. "Don't cross it." Karen looked at me like she'd already won. "The judge will grant our injunction," she said. "You'll take down your signage. You'll stop hosting people near that pond after 600 p.m. That certainty, that performance, that belief that paperwork and pressure could replace ownership." I didn't argue. I didn't threaten. I tapped my screen. "Gina." "You're on speaker," I said. Her voice came through steady. "Karen, the court issued the temporary order. No enforcement actions. No communications claiming the pond is a community asset. No further mapping changes without independent review. And if your people touch that gate, the sheriff treats it as trespass." Karen's posture shifted. The smile stayed, but it lost its foundation. Gina continued. "Also, your affidavit witness is an actor. We filed proof. County logs show the GIS overlay changes tied to Clearbrook submissions. The judge ordered an audit." Karen's son turned toward her. "Mom," he said. "Quiet her now for a moment." Karen stared at my phone like it was something she couldn't disarm. Then she did something rare. She stopped performing. "Get back," she snapped. Clipboard guy stepped away from the latch like it burned. The tow truck never dropped a hook. They retreated in silence. Karen didn't look back at my pond as she got into the SUV. Looking back would have meant admitting it was never hers. That night I walked down to the water after 600 p.m. anyway, not to celebrate, to confirm reality still existed where she'd tried to bend it. The surface was dark, the air cold, dock boards quiet under my boots. My cameras sat there doing their simple job, watching, storing, refusing to forget. The only paper that mattered now came by proper service. No HOA logo, no fake seal, just a court order with boundaries that don't care about expectations. I stood there long enough to hear nothing but water against wood. Then I turned and went inside. The night didn't feel triumphant. It felt clean. Lesson learned: when someone mistakes confidence for ownership, the truth doesn't need to shout, it just needs to stand its ground.